welcome back to my channel. This is CareWorks RN, and we're here to wish you a happy Mother's Day. And this is to all moms, all stepmoms, all pet moms, all grandmas, and all women who give of themselves to help future generations. Because as we know, it takes more than just a biological mom in order to make a difference on children. So because this is a channel of hot health topics, what I want to bring to you today is making sure that you're taking care of your physical health. We do everything for everybody all year long, and we shout out to all those people who are taking care of us today. But many times we avoid taking care of ourselves physically. So I'm going to give you 10 things to keep in mind as you go through the year and try to check them off, try to get them done. All right, so blood pressure checks monthly. Hypertension runs in African Americans, and we're seeing that heart disease is on the rise for African American females. And so what I'm suggesting to you is, as you're shopping at Target or Giant or any of those grocery stores, just stick your arm in one of those machines, push the button, get your blood pressure, and write it down. That way, when you go to your doctor for your annual exam, then you have a list of blood pressures that you've had. So this is even for those who don't have a blood pressure problems. Also, the current recommendation for exercise is about 150 minutes a week. So it sounds like a lot, right? 150 minutes. But if you break that down over 7 days, and more realistically over 5 days, then you're going to come to about 25 minutes a day. And that can literally be just walking. One of the walking apps that I would suggest, and this is not sponsored, but I have to say shout out to Girls Trek. Girls Trek are two African American females that have over 1 million people walking with them. And with the walk, then they're giving you music, they're giving you motivation, they're telling you our stories from our ancestors, and it just is so motivating to see how far we've come. It gives me hope, it gives me joy, and so hopefully that's something that might work for you. Okay. Another important thing is an annual exam. Annual physicals are covered underneath all insurance companies. Even the Affordable Care Act, you're not subject to a deductible. There's no co-payment, so there's no reason why you should not go. So you figure out who participates with your plan, you look them up, you look at if they fit whatever it is you want in a care provider, and you make an appointment, go have it done. Now, when you go to have your physical done, make sure they do blood work. Nobody has the this crazy ability to look at you and tell you that you're healthy without seeing what's going on inside. So ask them for lab work. If you're over 40, ask them for an EKG, so at least they can get some kind of baseline as to where you are. Now, when I talk about baseline EKGs in particular are very important for African American women because, as I said, heart disease is on the rise for us. So we have something that our doctors can compare once or if we get into any trouble with any type of cardiac palpitations or anything like that, then they'll have something to compare it with and kind of determine when something went wrong, or if this is normal for a person, whatever it is that they see. So having a baseline is very important, and getting that blood work. Blood work is so important. Don't walk out that office without getting a script to have your blood work done. All right, so next on the list are mammograms. Now, we heard all last week on TV. They were talking about now, everybody's excited. Mammograms are approved for those people 40 years and older. Well, that is a good thing, because women need mammograms. It is the best diagnostic tool that we have to determine if something is wrong. So for African American women, typically breasts are dense. When I say that is, they found that our tissue is dense, so it's not as visible to have a regular mammogram. So what they will offer you, and now you have to consent to it, doesn't cost you anything extra, it's covered underneath your health insurance, but it's called a 3D digital breast mammogram. So you want to select that because that is your best opportunity for seeing through that dense tissue to pick up any abnormalities that you might have. In addition to getting an annual mammogram over the age of 40, if you are a younger person who has a strong family history of breast cancer, then, get it. Ask your doctor to help support why you need it, because there is evidence that there's a genetic factor that follows people who get breast cancer. So early detection in breast cancer screening is of utmost importance, and it does help save lives. Now, one more thing associated with breast disease is to still continue to make certain that you're doing your monthly breast exams. So that means take off all your clothes, maybe just before you get in the shower, arms should be up, you're feeling all over your breast, you're making sure you go up underneath the armpit. If you notice, regardless of how fat you are, underneath your armpit, then you have less tissue and you might be able to pick up some abnormal spot. This becomes important because when you go to your GYN, then you can help them focus on an area that you are suspicious of. Again, early detection saves lives. Okay, so this comes to, we talked about the annual physical exam. Now, women have to have a wellness exam because with that GYN or gynecology or gynecological wellness exam, this is an opportunity for the provider to do what we call a pap smear or a pelvic exam. Now, these pelvic exams become very important again for early detection. Uterine cancer, fibroids, all types of pelvic disease can be detected when a person gets an annual GYN exam. And so we should not be ignoring that or not getting that done. Now, what I would say to you again, very controversial information out there, enough to confuse you that you don't even know what to ask for. But the most recent information on healthy women pelvic exams is that every 3 years for women between the ages of 21 to 29, then what's called a pap smear is recommended. Now, pelvic exams are done every year, but the pap smear is actually when they take a part of the cervix and they're actually looking to see if there's any cancer cells. Now, every 3 years is okay if you've been healthy and you have nothing that's suspicious, no family history, nothing that to be concerned of. But if you've ever had a pelvic exam that the doctor calls you back and say, hey, I want to take a look at you, something suspicious happened, you need to say that such that you will get more frequent pap smears, because there could be something that's not visible but something to be of concern. So every 3 years is a long time if you're just following the recommended guidelines. So again, be your own advocate. Now, if you're over that age, if you're between 30 and 65, the recommendation for a pelvic, for a pap smear is every 5 years. Now, we know a whole lot can happen in 5 years. So again, any abnormality that you've had prior, bring it up to your provider. If you feel any kind of way, if you've seen some sort of discharge or some unusual bleeding, bring it up to your provider. Because these are guidelines don't mean that you cannot have a pap smear done more frequently. But the recommended guidelines say every 5 years. So please, 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 please be your own advocate. If you have any family history, if you have any signs or symptoms, if you have any concern, have that conversation with your provider such that perhaps more frequent pap smear can be done. All right, so here we are to an annual vision exam. Many people don't talk about the importance of having a vision exam. What I would suggest to you is, if at all possible, have your eye exam done by an ophthalmologist who is a medical doctor who does eye exams. Now, no shade to the optometrist, but what I've found is that ophthalmologists can see disease processes by looking at your eye. They can look at the vessels that innervate your eye and frequently see if you have any type of elevated cholesterol, if you might have a problem with your blood sugar, because these same vessels that help to serve your eye are very similar to the vessels that help to serve your heart. I mean, vessels are vessels. They just go to different parts of our bodies. And so I would say to you to have your annual eye exam again, typically covered underneath your health insurance. And last but not least is a dental exam every 6 months. Teeth cleaning, usually covered, no cost or no copayment. With that, then abnormalities can be picked up. Your mouth is the beginning of your digestive system. Think about that. We put food in our mouths, we chew it, and then it goes down to our gut and, passes through our bodies. But it is the beginning of our digestive system. And many times we think of dental health as being separate from our medical health, where it really isn't. It is just that dentistry is another specialty that we need to take advantage of the services and the expertise that they have. That's about it for today. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. I hope you continue to celebrate yourself. Please follow us and see you next time. Bye.